So today we're looking at the difference between continental and English style knitting. Being able to go back and forth between the two is especially helpful when doing color work. It allows you to manage your yarn in two separate hands. So what I'm going to do is we'll start out by practicing knitting 2 rows in the English style and then 2 rows in the continental style. As you do this, I recommend just grabbing some waste yarn in 2 sharply contrasting colors and assigning 1 style per yarn. So I've got my white yarn will be English style knitting and my blue yarn will be continental style knitting. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with English. For English knitting, the needle that's in my left hand, or in my right hand, in my right hand, comes from front to back through the stitch on my left needle. Holding the yarn in my right hand, I loop it around, that's actually called throwing, over the needle and pull it through. I tend to find that this is a little bit slower than continental knitting, but also gives me a little bit more control over tension. And depending on the project you're doing, you may want one or the other. Right, and just to slow it down again on the last couple stitches, my right hand needle comes from front to back through the first stitch on my left needle. The yarn is thrown or looped around that needle and pulled through. If you're making this swatch along at home, you can either choose to turn and knit another row with the white, or if you're using circular needles like I am, you can move your yarn to the other side of the needles and work across the row again with the other color. Now I'm on my blue yarn, and that means that I'm going to do continental style knitting. In continental style knitting, my yarn is held in my left hand. You can tension it any way you like. I like to wrap it around my middle finger and have it come across my index finger, which is where I'll grab it with my other needle. For continental knitting, you go from front to back, and I use that index finger to help the needle grab the yarn right behind and pull it through. A lot of knitters learn to knit in the English style and never try continental, but it's actually just super useful to be able to do both. So again, front to back, I'm going to grab this yarn, the blue yarn, with that right hand needle. I'm using my index finger to just floop it on over and pull it through. If you've only ever knit in one style or the other, I recommend going through at least 20 rows, going back and forth between the two, right? All right, guys, good luck, and I know you can do it.